Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. Yesterday, I slept, so I'm feeling pretty good today. Definitely better than I have been. Still, hold on, I got some stuff in my throat, give me just a sec. That's still ongoing, but it is getting better. And I think sleeping helped. So I'm still just lining up the lower left with the bottom head turn. I think most things are looking pretty good. Just want to make some adjustments to hopefully make everything look even better. Just fairly small things. I'm still leaving things fairly messy, but I want to make sure that all of the various angles and shapes are looking good. I swear, the top of this bang always gives me so much trouble. Just finding the right amount of roundness is not as straightforward as it feels like it should be. But yeah, I think I'm almost ready to start cleaning things up finally. Oh, won't that be exciting? Probably not terribly, just because cleaning tends to be slow and fairly straightforward. It's just a matter of getting it done. So even I tend to find cleaning not all that exciting. But it's still exciting to be approaching the end here. The head turns are getting closer and closer to being done every day. So So at the moment, I'm kind of looking to see how much of this dark area I can get away with hiding. Kind of tucking it behind the bangs, and I'm probably reaching the limit here. I do think it looks good with a little bit more hidden. I think it makes this bang sitting on top of it here look a little bit thicker and a little bit more prominent. Like it's covering more of this area right here. And I think that makes it look like her head is turning a little bit more than it would otherwise. So I'm also spending quite a lot of time checking the bottom turn from the center, just to make sure that everything is still looking good there, and that there's nothing I need to adjust, especially on the areas where I'm adjusting it over on the lower left a little bit. It's like in the areas where I'm using the lower left as the base for how I should make the lower head turn look. And, you know, that's fine. It doesn't really matter if the lower turn lines up with the middle quite as hard. It should, in theory, if I'm doing it correctly, do that by default. So that's something that I check a little bit later, but if I'm using the lower head turn to adjust the lower left, then I really want to make sure that the lower head turn is correct. And I do that by checking the center, because the center is just what it looks like with no deformations or movement applied to it. That is just the base art. For now, I'm just taking a look on trying to get this to curve the way I want, and for all of those little details in the hair to go in the right place, because there's actually quite a few colors. You can see there's this highlight here, and it also kind of runs up on the edge of the hair here, and there's these little patches of light through there, this big shadow area. Lots and lots of little bits of color here and there. All of which I want to pay attention to and get into a good spot. I gotta say, for as sleepy as I was feeling yesterday, everything looks pretty good. I gotta trust my sleepy self more. Because I can still manage to do things when I'm sleepy way better than I give myself credit for. So one thing that I was noticing, I'll go and point it out more clearly here, is that when her head was turning from this lower turn all the way over to the left, I didn't feel like this edge of the hair right through here was moving with it. So like it's almost like it's staying in place when everything else is moving, and that looks a bit strange. So I'm trying to bring it on over. Very, very gently and carefully. But yeah, I do think it looks much better in that spot right there. And meanwhile, today is going to be weekly speed paint day. Normally I do it on Saturday, but I just was not feeling very good yesterday. Had not been getting enough sleep. So I decided to delay it one day and do it today. I'm glad I did. I'm feeling much better today. I think that whatever I draw will look much better, and I'll probably be considerably less stressed and cranky about it. It's amazing what getting enough sleep can do for your mind. Say for anyone struggling to do the things that you want to do, first thing you gotta get under control is sleep. No way around it. Sleeping is terrible, but it's gotta be done. Very much a case of you gotta do what you gotta do. Whatever it takes to get it going. One thing that's always helped me with sleep personally is I just never do anything in my bedroom anymore. It's like it's probably easier for me than it is for some people because I'm an adult with my own house. So the entire house is basically my space. You know, no. I don't know, I have very little kids. I guess that's not really true anymore. Because it's like they pretty much run the house. Let's be real here. But, yeah. But I don't have to worry about them really rifling through my stuff or caring about it. It did take me a while to teach them not to mess with my computer desk and my computer. But, besides that, I can pretty much go where I want and do what I want. So I don't need my bedroom or my sleeping space to be anything but a sleeping space. And I actually do think that helps. It's enough that I actually do start feeling a little bit drowsy just going up the stairs. Because the only thing I do when I go up the stairs, besides waking up my kids, is go to bed. So if I'm going upstairs, I'm either going to bed or I'm waking up the tiny ones. And that is it. And I do think that kind of thing helps. So I don't have a laptop up in my room, I do not bring my phone up into my room. Absolutely nothing. Only thing I do in there is sleep. So once I go in there, my body knows it's time to go to sleep, and I think it makes it have an easier time. So if that's something you can get away with, I think that is probably the thing that helped me the most. This was never super relevant to me, but dropping caffeine helps a lot too. Or at least keeping it to very, very little. But I never really had that much caffeine. So that wasn't something I had to deal with quite as much. When I was just a tiny one, well, I guess not that tiny, I was like 14, but I had some stomach troubles that made me unable to have soda, so I just never really had a lot of caffeine. So that was not something I had to worry about dropping. Okay, I think I am figuring out how that bank is supposed to go, though. I think it's looking alright. Just, still kind of fixing it along this diagonal here, going from the center directly to the lower left. Very important line. Very important to compare each angle you do with the center, I think. And it's looking like I'm just going to be able to do it in the surrounding keyframes. I think I'm going to have a few extra to handle the part that makes the line transparent here. You can kind of see it moving around like the base of her chin here, and it should definitely not be transparent like right there, for example. There should be a line here, but that will come later. I want to get all of the basic angles done here, and then I'll add a few more keyframes in order to control that. But it'd be a pain to have to worry about fixing angles on those keyframes, so I want to do all of that at the end, if I can get away with it. I do know that sometimes with other riggers will add more keyframes if they need specific things to happen on their head, certain spots. Like, if I recall, my personal model has several more. I think I have like 2 in between. Just because I had to pull some shenanigans with some stuff, but I don't quite recall those shenanigans off the top of my head. But I gotta say, this is so much more manageable. Man, I've been working on the head angles and hair for so long, it's gonna feel weird once they're all done. That's okay, that just means that I'm getting them to do all the things that I want them to do, and everything should look pretty nice by the time I'm done. Looks like I'm gonna have to move this back strand a little bit too. I might even neaten up this front one just a little bit here. Just because I want to make sure that it's in the right spot. And I admit that I'm having a little bit of trouble lining it all up. Sometimes making things a little bit neater can help me figure that out. It's true with drawing, at least. Where sometimes I have to just go in and clean things up a little in order to really understand it. So this way it's just not a blob of nonsense. And that is definitely one thing that I appreciate about rigging. And that I already have nice looking art to look at. So I don't have to go through that period where everything looks bad. Or at least not as strongly. But I think I can still use some similar ideas to what I do when I am just drawing something from scratch. I just feel like the bottom part of this is not moving correctly here. It's like not moving at the same pace as everything else. It feels like it's moving over to the side, the left side, even more than everything else. As opposed to turning. Probably means that I want to pull these little vertices out just a little bit more. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I think that helped a little bit. That's why I'm going through and kind of cleaning things up here. Things aren't looking quite right. I'm not entirely sure why. So I'm kind of hoping that just poking at those areas that don't look quite right will eventually let the answer reveal itself to me. Or we'll just fix it. One of the two. Okay. So now I can start. I made pretty significant changes there, so I can already tell that I need to make some changes up on the left turn as well. It's okay, I kind of expected that I'd have to go back and forth quite a lot in order to get things to look good. The corners are there to let everything meet up. Okay, there we go. That's looking much better there. Much more like it's lining up. So let's try to figure out the strand behind it now. So since I moved this one quite a lot, I think I have to move the strand behind it just a little bit here. It actually wasn't looking as bad as I feared it might, but I do think I want that highlight to be a little bit closer. Just a little bit. There's like this little highlight running down here. It's all kind of crunchy and crooked right now, but once I make it look nice and clean, that should look pretty good. But I do think it needs to be a bit closer here. For a lot of what I did with the hair so far, I've been using that highlight to kind of divide the hair into sections. So this highlight is what separates this back section from this kind of front section here. Makes it very clear. Hello there. that dank pip? Oh, very nice. Well, I'm happy to have you here. Enjoy your lurking, and enjoy whatever it is that you're working on. What are you working on right now? Are you drawing something or rigging something? Ah, thank you. I'm very happy with how that drawing of Zero came out. Ah, commissions. Alright. Oh, and traditional commissions. Alright. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. I've been in digital spheres for so long that I haven't seen as many traditional or people doing traditional commissions before. So, glad to see that that art is still alive as well. Yes, thank you. Yes, I am strictly digital myself. I enjoy the medium quite a bit. But it's still nice to see other styles and just other methods of doing things out there. I never want any of those other things to die. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I always had trouble with the smell of paint. So it just wasn't really something that I could personally do myself. But I'm just always very happy to see these other methods still living. So I like seeing what people do, because there are things that I do think traditional media does better than digital. Or if not better, then at least easier. If the material kind of encourages certain other techniques that you don't see as much in digital. So I still like seeing it quite a lot. Yeah. It is. It's always a good time. Just how you go about it and the result that comes from it. And all the silly little things that you have to worry about. Like, I remember somebody talking about oil painting and how you had to store it in specific ways to stop bugs from eating your painting. And I was just like, oh no! Yes. And I'm just like, man, that is not something I have ever thought about. Not once. Bugs do not have to eat my stuff on my hard drive. Do not have to worry about that ever. I was just like, man, the things you have to worry about. You know, I can believe it. Answer dangerous. It's like I have always had an irrational fear of spiders. But for my husband, it's always been ants. Just because of all the shenanigans they can get into. He really does not like ants. Seeing one doesn't bother him, but he doesn't like it because, you know, when you see one ant, there's probably like another 200 that you can't see. And they can just get into all kinds of trouble if you let them. It's okay. I acknowledge the arachnophobia is maybe only, I don't know, 30% rational. But, I cannot deal. That's okay. I mean, it's pretty common. It's, probably one of those things that just got kind of hardwired into our brain because of our ancestors. Some people get it harder than others. That's why I don't worry about it. Because sometimes they can be dangerous. Yep. Good way to do it. Alright. Finally getting some of these colors to line up. Just, there's a deceptive amount of little patterns and stuff on this strand right here. So it's taking me a little while to get them all lined up with each other. Alright, will do. So, thank you, and good luck with your commissions. Glad to hear it. Enjoy your lyric. But yes, I'm still just fighting with all of these little patterns on this strand here. It's like I'd say that I wish I made a more detailed mesh for this, but I'm not actually sure if that's true. Because I'm not sure how I would mesh this. That's gonna have to be something I think about later. If I was gonna go back and do it again, what would I change there? Not sure yet. But I think that's looking okay. I don't think they have to line up like 100% perfectly, just because it makes sense that the light coming off of her hair shifts around a little bit. I've been playing with that idea with the highlights in various spots of her hair. So like here, where they're, if we go from the left to the lower left, that they kind of creep upward a little bit, and I actually think that looks good. This looks like the hair is hitting a little bit closer to her roots. Or the light, rather. Not the hair. So I actually like that. And I think it's reached the point where the shifting is minor enough that I think it actually looks fine now. Okay, cool. Alright, so now I guess I'll just keep going further back. Or since at this point that I'm mostly happy with everything else, maybe I will just go in and start cleaning up some things. Probably shouldn't. Nah. Yeah, probably shouldn't. Shouldn't get too impatient. Just go in and clean things up once I know that I'm happy with how it all looks. It's like I just look at the front bang and I'm like, okay, I haven't moved anything around here in like an eternity, so I know that I could probably go and clean that up and be fine. But it's okay. One step at a time. Hold on, I'm gonna cough here. Okay, there we go, much better. Being sick is the worst. My daughter starts school next year, so I know next year is probably going to be even worse. When it comes to disease. That'll happen when the tiny one is suddenly going to be around many other little tiny ones. It's kind of hard for me to believe that I'm going to be sending her out into the world soon. I mean, I guess I already have been to some extent. Like, she plays with other kids at, like, playgrounds and stuff. But this will be the first time that I'm not with her. And that feels like something else entirely. Alright, just wanted to consult the mesh a little bit there. Figure out why everything here was moved around so much. I may be getting a little bit too into the details here, but there's like some patterns along the edges here that I just wanted to all get into the right place. Okay. And the rest of this I'm gonna do later, because I'm scared of this. I'm scared of this strand. This strand, it likes to troll me so hard. But the top part I wanted to at least get relatively correct here. Alright, now I want to visit this very back part. So how I want to handle that? I'm not actually quite sure yet. Because I feel like it's mostly right, there's just... I don't know, the back here, when I move it from both sides, from both the left and the bottom, does not quite seem to be moving right. It seems like it's growing a little bit. Okay, I think I have some thought on how to fix that now. So let's go and try it. See what happens. Just see what happens there. Okay, yeah, that was definitely a bit better. And then I also know that there's like some highlights and stuff up there. And I think that might be part of why they're not quite lining up yet. I'll go ahead and push those highlights on down and see if that helps a little bit too. Yeah, I think so. And then maybe for this last bit, I can afford to just make her hair a little bit floofier on the bottom turn instead of messing with the lower left. Let's just make this little spot here a little bit floofier. It's like she's looking down. We can afford to show a little bit more on the back of her head there. Should look fine, in theory. Yeah, I think it does. Let me just round out the shape over here, and all should be well. Something like that. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's just fix up this minor shift in the highlight here. And then I'll start staring at the other side. Gotta do some intense staring and make sure that I like everything. But honestly, lining everything up with the bottom turn there ended up not being nearly as scary as I thought it was going to be. It all just kind of came together. Ah, no, there's still shenanigans at the root itself. Okay. Still a little bit more to do here. Okay, well that was pretty easy. It just lined up for me right away. Okay. Another case of where I feared it might be a little bit troublesome, but just worked out. Didn't have that much I needed to adjust at all. That's the upside of having kind of a simple mesh there. So I just make minor changes and it's all fine. And it's very easy to move. The downside is that when I need to make very precise movements, I can't do it. So that's always the trade-off there. And that's why the front bang has a million dots. Because I need to make lots of very precise movements there, and I want everything to move just the way I want it to. Probably could have even cut that into like 4 different layers if I was feeling ambitious at the start and had a better idea of what I was doing. But I think how I did it was fine. Just trying to get the shape of this There's like the shadow part that's surrounded by these little highlights here. And I'm trying to get the shape of that shadow looking right there, because I do think that is an important little shadow there for that strand. I'd say the important parts for this strand here is that shadow and then this highlight. Those are probably the most important parts. At the very least, it is what I'm looking at, and I'm looking at those spots very, very closely. Want to make sure that they all have good little homes. And that they're not squirming around, all uncomfortable and unhappy with where they are. Alright. Now that I have the lower left lined up with the left nicely, I just need to do the same with the lower head turn. But I don't think that'll be hard at all. It's mostly lined up. It's just that one little shadow there. Just that one little shadow. And then where it connects to. Over on the left side of her head there. Is also not lining up quite right, so I'm going to see where it needs to be fixed. Does it need to be fixed on the corner or on the lower head turn? And it's looking like it needs to be fixed on the lower head turn. So I'll just go ahead and push those two spots down real quick, and all should be well. So that should be this one and that one, yeah. Not quite sure how far down it needs to go, but I will poke at it until it's right. All I can really do. Alright, gonna need to stare at this one a little bit. Just want to find exactly where the spot I don't like is. And I think it might actually be... There's like a red spot on this layer here. And I think that might actually be where the problem is. Let's hide a layer so I can see a little bit better. Where is that underneath spot? Okay. So we got a funny bald spot for a moment, so this way I can hopefully see what I'm doing just a little bit better here. Okay, it is not the layer that I thought it was. It is indeed on this layer. Well, it is true. There is a red spot on that layer too. That's why I had to check them both. Why it was a little bit hard to tell exactly which one I had to be modifying. It's like the hair on this character is really pretty and detailed, but it did make it hard for me to tell exactly where I should be cutting things. Because this isn't a style that has clear borders and boundaries and lines. Everything just kind of flows together. It's a little more painterly. So it looks very nice, but it does make it a little bit harder for me to determine where I should be cutting these into layers here. It's okay, it's worth it though. It's very pretty, and I've had a pretty good time working with it. Sometimes I complain, but that's okay. That's just what I do. Alright. So now I'm doing my intense staring on the left side to make sure that everything is lining up there the way I want it to. It's not quite yet, but it's okay, I'll get there. I think that's right. A lot of things are pretty close, though. I am so close I can smell it, even with my cold. Over here has many, many little textures and highlights and shadows as well. Just lots of little things that I have to pay attention to. Right now I'm largely looking at the location of these highlights up near the roots there. Trying to line some of those up. Just looking very, very closely at every angle and the diagonal to make sure that everything just flows where it needs to go. It can be kind of tricky to determine which angle that I want to change, whether it's the lower left, the left, or the bottom. And sometimes it's a little of all three. It actually goes as far as to say it's pretty common for it to be a little bit of all three. Yeah, there we go. Things are lining up a little bit more nicely now. But unfortunately, my throat is starting to give out a bit here. So I might have to end soon and get some food and something to drink. It's okay. I think I still got a little bit of life left in me here. So let's see what I can do, if I can at least finish the big clump of her hair on the top of her head here. I know that I have a little bit of adjustment to do on the tips here. Those will be easy. Maybe I should just do those now. Yeah, you know what? Let's do something easy. Let's just fix the small things down here. Ah, that's a good shot. Just her eyes hidden. Line what I changed in the lower left turn up with the bottom turn, because I did make the tips a little bit lower in the claw region, as I call it. I don't know, this bit of hair just looks like a crab claw to me. Yeah, there we go. Something nice and easy. Should be fine once I clean all that up. And then I think I want to lower things on this other big clump over her shoulder. Just a tiny bit too. I did that in the lower left as well. I remember talking about it yesterday that I felt like her hair was like getting stuck. Like it was getting caught on something. So I just lowered it down so everything was moving at closer to the same rate as everything else, and I think it helped a lot. So I think it's all doing much better than it was. Alright, there's a little bit of a wiggle over here. I guess I can fix that up real quick too. Let me see which one is correct. And I will adjust from there. I believe it is the left turn that is correct. Whoa there. Hand got a little excited and twitched. Dragged it a little bit further than I intended there. Alright, and that is a little bit better. Okay. Back to the top of her head. Let's see how much more I can do here. I actually don't think this level of shifting in the highlights looks bad. So I think I just want to do a little bit of straightening out here. And get the angle on them a little bit nicer. It's like if you look at the original, over here they're all pretty straight. And over here they're still pretty straight. So I wanted to get them a little bit straighter over in the corner there. Okay. And then to line it up with the bottom turn there, I just need to get where it poofs. There's like a spot right over here where it kind of poofs out a little bit. And I think once I capture that... Yeah, there we go. Now it's turning better. Got another cough. Give me just a moment. Alright. So this is where I have another choice to make. Doing some intense staring on, like, the strand. At least as I'm interpreting it. It comes out of the roots here. And then like curves. And this strand is like draping over this part that's coming out of the roots. So this is like the back of her hair here. And this is the front. So what I'm looking at here is how it's draping over this spot right here is not consistent among these three areas. So I'm determining which of these three areas, the left, the lower left, and the bottom, which of them does it best. And then I'll use that to carry it to all three. And right now I think the spot that does it best is the left. But maybe not. So this is why I'm staring. Got to determine which one does it best, so that this way I can pick the best option and bring it to every single one. Might actually be the lower left. I think I might have actually gotten it best. Right over there. Let me just poke at this a little bit. Poke at the areas that I didn't like quite as much there. Gonna hide the side bang for a second there. Have some more temporary funny bald spots. I think this one too. Just so I can really see what's going on here. Man, when I hide the bangs and I leave the ears on, everything just looks so very special. Just got a ear casually floating on top of her eyelashes and it's fine. Okay, that seems okay. Go put the other layers back on and see if it's still okay. Mostly okay, I think. Let's see if I can get it just slightly better. Yeah, there we go, that's a little bit better. And I think I can actually get away with pushing it a little bit further to the left, but I have to do both sides. I think that might have been what was looking a little bit off to me. Whereas before I had just been mostly working off of one side and getting the shape of that just right. But I think I needed the entire strand just over to the left, just a little bit more. Yeah, I think so. I think that actually did help quite a lot. Makes sense, her head is moving to the left. Makes sense that her hair would also go to the left. One of those things that seems obvious when I say it like that. Alright, so now I'm just trying to find exactly how far to the left it should be going. Right there, I think it was a little bit too far to the left, so I'm bringing it back just a little bit to the right here. Doing it slowly. so that hopefully I don't overshoot my target here. Yeah, there we go. That seems pretty good. And I think that's probably going to be where I end for today. And I'll worry about the last couple of little things that I need to fix up here. And then it's going to be cleaning time. Making everything look nice. And I can make her head spin around. It'll be great. Okay. But yes, I do think that is where I will end for today. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or add me on the social media platform of your choice, and I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.